Hello ladies and gents, and welcome back to another fabulous week of English 101. This week we are going to be moving forward in our reading of Murder on the Orient Express, finishing the novel this week, hooray, it's exciting, and then getting started on our essay, which I know we have all been anxiously awaiting since the class started. You're like, why haven't we written an essay yet? Hold your horses, we'll get there, don't worry guys. So this week we are going to be continuing our reading of Murder on the Orient Express. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it so far. I love Agatha Christie's descriptive language and the way she kind of gets you to know the characters, and then as you go further in the book you'll realize you really didn't know them at all because there's some crazy twists at the end. Don't spoil it for your classmates if you already know, but there's some awesome stuff that happens. So that's coming. So read through Murder on the Orient Express. If you want to get a little bit of background information on how this was inspired by a real-life case, super interesting kidnapping murder case of a very famous child, the child of Charles Lindbergh, who was a famous aviator, flew around the world in a crazy small plane, did some really cool stuff, really famous guy, married a really rich girl. They had a lot of political power, a lot of economic power. These guys were uber famous guys, the Kardashians of their time. Everybody knew them, everybody knew the name, everybody knew everything about the family. They were always in the newspapers. They were huge socialites. And their 2-year-old son is kidnapped, and the body is later discovered after a whole series of ransom notes and a whole bunch of mystery and weirdness happening. So this case inspired Agatha Christie to write Murder on the Orient Express. Oftentimes you'll see that literature and fiction is a response to real life. There wasn't a nice ending to the Lindbergh tragedy. They didn't really find out who did it necessarily. There was a scapegoat, but there is a lot of questionable evidence that was brought forward, and the guy probably didn't do it. He may have been associated with people who did it, but the guy who ended up facing the death penalty for this probably was mostly innocent, unfortunately. So you can see how that would spark in a mystery writer, oh my gosh, this real life mystery is happening, and there really was no conclusion that people felt good about. So she decided to write a book where she could write her own ending to the story. So you're going to be reading, again, watch the PowerPoint, read some more. And then we're going to be talking about the essay, and I've got a whole bunch of resources to help you be successful in this essay that I want to show you here. So if we go into our class, ta-da, clicking through, we go into the modules tab, and just scroll down to our project 1. Everything you need to be successful in this essay is located in this folder. I kid you not, everything you need. So the PowerPoints you've been watching this week, all here, very exciting. Here's the Lindbergh tragedy one if you want to check that out. Supporting materials, these are things that are going to make writing your essay easier. Chapters from Thomas Foster's book, How to Read Literature Like a Professor, great resources if you want to dig more deeply into this novel. Psychological approach to justice and revenge, I would highly, 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 highly recommend you use this article as one of your sources when you write the essay. So for those of you who are watching the weekly announcement videos, kudos, this is a little bonus. This is going to make your essay much stronger. So use this source. It would be good to do that. So not required, but highly recommended that you use this in your essay. And then the essay itself, a little bit about compare and contrast as a genre, if you want to check that out. It is the genre we'll be writing in for this essay. Murder on the Orient Express, the prompt, if you want to be able to just download it and look at it while you're working. This is a recorded lecture, tells you everything you need to know about the prompt and the outline. And I highly, highly, highly recommend, once again, that you write an outline for this piece. It's your first essay you're writing for me for major points in this class. The outline is going to help you be successful. So even if outlining is not a normal part of your writing process, I'm going to ask that you do an outline for this essay. You'll find that it's going to really get you high points in the organization and structure categories of the rubric. So please watch the recorded lecture, walks you through the prompt, walks you through the outline instructions. Everything you need is there. Your rubric, I never want grading to be a mystery for you, so this will tell you exactly how your essay is going to be scored. and then the Murder on the Orient Express Compare and Contrast Thesis Worksheet. Now I want to spend just a few very short minutes on this. I know you all have a lot on your plates. You're trying to juggle a ton. I don't want to make you watch a million really long, boring videos of just my face talking, because as much fun as that is for all of us, nobody needs to watch that for a really long time. So let's take a look at our thesis worksheet. We know the thesis is the driving force of the essay. You'll find in the rubric that it's worth a ton of points, like a ridiculous amount of points for one sentence in your essay. It's not going to be that way for the rest of your essays, but for this one, I really want to emphasize the importance of your thesis statement. So spend some time on it. That's why we've got a thesis worksheet. That's why you're going to be sharing your thesis worksheets, and I'm going to be giving you feedback on them before you write the final draft of your essay. So lots of points associated with this. Spend some time on it. They're hard. Thesis statements are hard, guys. They're the hardest part of the essay, at least for me to write. But it's worth investing in, because if you have a solid thesis statement, your essay is going to come together so much more smoothly for you. I don't know that I've ever seen a good essay with a bad thesis. And I've been teaching composition for over 10 years now, so it's a lot of essays I've read. And a thesis statement is necessary. So first thing I want you to do, create your own definition of revenge, your own words. Then create your own definition of justice. Once again, your own words. How do you understand the term? Then I want you to explain one significant difference between the two terms. Explain one significant similarity between the two terms, because in this essay you're going to be showing similarities and differences in revenge and justice, and then arguing which of these terms is the true theme of Murder on the Orient Express. Then which of these themes do you believe is the major theme of the book? Give me at least one specific piece of evidence. Ideally, this would be an example from the book, like a quote. Give me a page number, all that good stuff. Then, number 6, write a thesis statement that provides context for your analysis, acknowledges the complexity of both terms, and argues what implications are if your chosen term is at the heart of Christie's work. So if I was going to do an example for you here, we want to start with context. So we might say something like, in Agatha Christie's novel, and then, as you know, in MLA format, book titles are italicized. So in Agatha Christie's novel, Murder on the Orient Express, the themes of justice and revenge are juxtaposed. Fancy word for compared or held side by side. So we could say, in Agatha Christie's novel, Murder on the Orient Express, that's our context. Check. We got that first box done. Acknowledge the complexity of both terms. So the themes of justice and revenge are juxtaposed. That means held side by side, worthy of comparison. If we wanted to make it real simple, we might say the complex or convoluted or confusing or any of those words that let us know that this isn't just a straightforward black and white kind of thing. We're going to have some discussion here. So in Agatha Christie's novel, Murder on the Orient Express, the complex themes of justice and revenge are juxtaposed, forcing the reader to, and then this is what we're going to argue. What's the implication? What's the takeaway? Why did Agatha Christie choose this as the theme of the novel? So if we're arguing that revenge is the theme of the novel, we could say something like, in Agatha Christie's novel, Murder on the Orient Express, the complex themes of justice and revenge are juxtaposed, forcing the reader to acknowledge moral gray area surrounding revenge and its possible confusion as justice, or something like, because people confuse revenge and justice a lot, and we would argue maybe in the book, there is no right answer here, so don't worry. We might argue in the book that the characters thought they were acting out a form of justice, but in fact it was revenge, like they're confused between the two. So we could force the reader to acknowledge the moral gray area surrounding revenge and its possible confusion with justice, or with people carrying out justice, or however you want to phrase it. But you'll see here in this thesis statement, we have done the 3 things we have to do, right? So here we've got our context. I'm going to color code that yellow. We've got our context. We are acknowledging the complexity of this work and why those terms can be confusing. So we've got that in blue. And then here at the end, we are letting the reader know what the implications are. What's the takeaway? Why did Agatha Christie choose one of these terms and then make it happen in the novel? So that's what you want your thesis statement to look like. This is a reward for those of you, few people who are watching the weekly announcement videos. I know not many of you are, but for those of you who are, I appreciate it very much. Here's an example thesis statement for you that nobody else is going to get unless they watch the video. So, yay, you have a jump start on this whole process because you have an example. We've talked through how to go about doing this. You're off to a good start. I'm looking forward to seeing your thesis worksheets, looking forward to your outlines and your essays. If you have any questions, reach out. I'm here to help. And I look forward to getting to see how your ideas evolve. This essay is really fun. One of my favorites of the quarter because everyone has a different perspective and there's really no right answer. So it's cool to see how people are supporting their ideas. So if you have questions, reach out. I'm here to help. Good luck writing this week. Enjoy the end of your book, and I'll see you soon.